Hi guys, and welcome to another video. So today I'm going to be doing one of my old favourites that I love making, and that is my TV versus movie showdown. Wait, no, book versus movie showdown. And that this time is going to be for Studio Ghibli book and movie, and that is Kiki's delivery service. So the general plot before we break down the movie review and the book review is we are following 13-year-old Kiki and her cat familiar Gigi. So in this world, whenever a witch comes of age, which is like 13, they have to make it out on their own in the world, select a village or a town or a city, become that resident witch, and basically stay there for a year, get acquainted, learn a skill, find their way in the world before returning home and kind of sharing what they found. And the point of that is to kind of just build on their skill set, get their independence. I mean, 13 is pretty young to me, but that's the idea, and just strengthen their skills as an independent witch. So that is what we're following in this story, and our main character being Kiki. And oh my god, it's just such a joyful story. It's full of heart. I absolutely love her adventures, Gigi's little narration as it goes along, his snarkiness. Absolutely love it. So let's get into the review. So first of all, I think I've watched the movie 3 times maybe, but it was my first time reading the book recently. I did a reading vlog, if you're interested, on Studio Ghibli books to films, films to books. I did it for this and also My Neighbour Totoro, so if you'd like to watch kind of how I was feeling in the moment for both of those books, feel free to give that a watch. But let's start off with my book review. This was such a pure delight. It was so much fun to see the original concept for this much loved Studio Ghibli movie. I enjoyed seeing how Kiki and Gigi grew together as they found their own way in a town so much different to their own one. When they moved to this town, it is very, not quite hostile, but not as welcoming as Kiki has felt in the town that she's grown up with. So she kind of is taken aback by all that, and she's shocked because she's like, oh, okay, not everybody's as accepting of witches as she's been grown up and sort of been surrounded with. So it was interesting to see how she handled that, how she didn't kind of waver and give up but decided to stay there despite Gigi protesting against the idea. But yeah, she followed her instinct, which is always a good thing if you're a witch. And it was just so endearing seeing the whole town slowly fall in love with her herself getting newfound confidence, building her little business, her delivery service, making friends, kind of breaking out of this isolated relationship where it was just her and Gigi and kind of all she knew, and kind of pushing herself out there, because she was a very out there character, I would say, but I think where she was taken aback by not feeling very welcome, it knocked her confidence a little bit, and maybe her ego a little bit as well. It was super adorable, generally speaking, and I also really loved how in the book I felt like each chapter gave us sort of like a short story in a way. It was like a snippet, slice of life into everyday life for Kiki and Gigi, as they got into like running errands for the neighbours and getting up to hijinks and adventures and kind of worming their way out of situations that maybe they shouldn't have got into. Story wise, it would have been nice to see her actually have some downtime with those that she considered to be her friends, like those at her own age group. I feel like that would have been more believable because she was all very work. And I also would have loved to have seen more of Gigi's sass, which is something that I was very accustomed to from loving the movie. He just seemed a little bit more tame in spirit and personality in the book, and I would have loved to have seen more of that come through reading wise. But nevertheless, this was super wholesome, super joyful. I really enjoyed this one, and I think I gave the reading experience a 4 out of 5 stars. Okay, next up, the movie. I feel like this movie just beautifully captures the essence of Studio Ghibli, and I guess you can say generally, you know, Aiko Kodono's story itself is Studio Ghibli because that's where the inspiration came. But the way they brought it to life in a cinematography way, it just elevates itself that much more on the screen. I also gave it 4 stars, but it's almost a completely different experience. I don't know, the colours, the illustrations come to life, the design, everything about it, it's just, it really captures my attention. I just felt so invested, I felt so a part of what was happening. Yeah, as I say, I think this may be the second or third time that I've seen the movie, and although it's been only a few times I've actually watched it, this was in fact my personality for a long time. Some may say still is my personality, but I digress. I love how simple it is in the way that it delivers the story. Again, it does kind of hold that sense that you're following a selection of short stories that sort of blend and weave in together. Essentially, you know, as Kiki finds her way in this new town, coming into her witchhood, that sort of thing. But I feel like in terms of the book, it feels more obvious in a way of short stories. Like, it feels like, okay, that's a close now. The next time, oh, it's Christmas time, now we're following a new thing, you know what I mean? Like, whereas this one bleeds in together a little bit more seamlessly. So it kind of just there's a fur on my lip, it kind of just, it's less noticeable, but it is a lot of, you know, random short stories spliced together beautifully so, to kind of create this feature-length movie. There are a few changes from what the book delivers, I would say, but mainly I find it's in the addition of adding a bigger plot device for like a rescue scene, which I understand, you know, it creates tension and anticipation and excitement for a movie, which is something that you might not care for in a book. Like, you go in, I know generally Studio Ghibli is kind of quaint, slice of life, easy watching, beautiful scenery, that sort of thing, but in a book you can get away with it much more than a movie. I feel like in a movie you're more likely to get a random kind of person just stick it on to see what it's about. So in the hopes that that's the case, they have to have something a little bit actiony, a little bit exciting to keep those people entertained, excited, and potentially check out more of their stuff. Whereas in the book, you know your audience, you know who you want to kind of reach out to. That's just kind of my takeaway from it. So yeah, there's more of an actiony feel to the book, I would say. More of less of the gentle kind of sillier scenes and more of it's aiming towards a point, if you know what I mean. But nevertheless, it doesn't take away anything from either of these. I think they both capture the essence of Studio Ghibli beautifully. They both deliver Kiki's delivery service beautifully, but they do things differently, yet in a way that I'm equally pleased with. So this one's a difficult one to say who wins. As I say, I've given them both a 4 out of 5 stars. I think I enjoy them equally. For, you know, they do different things, so you get a little bit of something extra depending what you go for, what vibe you're in, you know. So if you want something a little bit more action paced, you want to, you know, have a little afternoon, couple of hours where you just stick your eyes to the screen, take in some beautiful scenery and like get invested in a plot of a movie, go for this one. If you want like a slower kind of meandering, gentle story with a few exciting bits but really nothing super action paced, take the novel route, I would say. But really, go ahead and just check out both because they're great. So that is my review on Kiki's Delivery Service, both the novel and the movie by Studio Ghibli. Let me know if you yourself have watched this and read it, or one or the other, what your thoughts are, and I will speak to you in another video soon. Bye!